Mercury, the planetary messenger, moves into Taurus Wednesday, May 15th. Cooler heads prevail. Hello, I'm Eliane Nicole, your astrologer and tarot reader, and in this video I'm going to talk about the transit of Mercury in Taurus from May 15th to June 3rd, 2024. And this is a big relief for the planet of communications to be moving into Taurus from Aries. Normally Mercury is just transit a sign in 3 weeks, which is what's going to happen with Taurus. But in the case of the Mercury and Aries season that we're just coming out of, Mercury was in Aries for 2 months, where he was ruled by Mars, the god of war. So that had a lot to do with conflicts in communications, arguments, fights, foot and mouth, people speaking impulsively without thinking. And now that Mercury is moving into Taurus, this is a much calmer, cooler, level-headed time in general. Of course, it affects everyone differently depending on their own personal astrology, which is why I always encourage people to contact me for a reading, because my favorite thing to do is to sit one-on-one with clients and look at their charts. But in the meantime and in between time, I do like to do these videos because I think that astrological knowledge should be available to anyone who wants it for free. But on that note, please, if you're watching on YouTube or Instagram, leave a comment, help me in the algorithm so I can continue to give these free offerings. So Mercury in Taurus, when cooler heads prevail, it's a much more level-headed Mercury, and you know, this Mercury is ruled by Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, who's in Taurus now at home. So she is very happy, she is very comfortable. And so this should mean that we start to resolve any arguments or conflicts that may have happened during the Mercury and Aries season on the world stage. You know, we still have Mars and Aries in the North Node in Aries, and they're coming up on a conjunction this weekend. So that does still, you know, lend itself to competition and fighting and war. But overall, these next 3 weeks are much calmer in the realm of communications. Mercury rules our intellect, how we listen, how we think, how we speak, how we learn. And Mercury in Taurus really wants to think about and talk about and learn about Taurian themes, which on the one hand has to do with like money and investments and banking, resources, food, crops, nature, Mother Earth, the environment. On the other hand, there's, you know, the sensual pleasures, love and art and romance. And so these are the themes that are going to be more the focus of conversation during this 3-week period. And we'll probably be seeing a lot more talk about those themes in the media as well. There are some key transits that I want to talk about with Mercury while they're in Taurus, mainly the square to Pluto, the sextile to Saturn in Pisces. So the square to Pluto in Aquarius, the sextile to Saturn in Pisces, the conjunction to Uranus in Taurus, the sextile to Neptune in Pisces. Those are the major transits or the major aspects that Mercury will have over the next 3 weeks. And those are dates to look out for. So get your calendar, get your pen and write it down. Yeah, so as Mercury enters Taurus on May 15th, he's immediately applying to the square with Pluto in Aquarius. And Pluto in Aquarius, if you've followed my astrology, you know, I did a video on Pluto entering Aquarius. I think I did a video on the conjunction of Mercury with Pluto in Aquarius when they met for the first time. And this is the opening square to that meeting. And so I would go back and watch those videos if you haven't, because it's going to really help add a lot more depth of information to what I'm going to say here briefly. But, you know, there's a lot here. Personally, this can be having to do with working out and in the collective. What is real? What is real versus what is virtual? What is just in the virtual realm, the AI realm, the social media realm, and the internet and digital communications? And what is real life? And there's a conflict between those two things. It's requiring action or may cause action or building in some way. Mercury square Pluto and Aquarius can also have to do with surveillance, which is a big theme in this Pluto and Aquarius era over the next 20 years. You know, so many, just everybody is getting access to surveillance technology. You know, it's not just the government, it's not just the police, but everyday people now have this technology. And so that's going to be a big issue that we're all going to be dealing with. And I think that that is something that will come up for a lot of people during this Mercury square Pluto. But in general, it can also have to do with you know, Pluto is god of the underworld. Pluto has to do with what is buried deep beneath the surface that often comes up, you know, what's in the subconscious, what's in the shadow that comes up to be dealt with. Sometimes Pluto is powerful people or plutocrats or billionaires. And so Mercury in Taurus square Pluto and Aquarius, you know, internally, psychologically, it can have to do with deep penetrating thought processes, but it conversationally with other people, it can have to do with deep conversations that are unearthing truths that haven't previously been seen or brought to the surface. You know, Mercury is the media, and so and Pluto and Aquarius, so it can have to do with, you know, big stories in the media about underworld figures or about, you know, the power of technology, the power of AI, like these kinds of things, you know, deep fakes, which has been a very big issue since Pluto has entered Aquarius. It's come to the surface. And Pluto is retrograde in Aquarius, by the way, heading back to the 29th degree of Capricorn for a final 2 months, but that's another story for another video. I do want to say that, yeah, so Mercury on the personal level, it's our communications, our conversations, our texts, our emails, how we speak, think, listen, and learn, mail, deliveries, scheduling, technology. But for the collective, it has to do with the media and communications in general when we're out in the street, when we're out in public life. In people, Mercury can represent teachers, students, children, messengers. And so, yeah, the Mercury-Pluto square perfects May 17th, although it starts building as soon as Mercury moves into Taurus on the 15th. The weekend of May 18th and 19th is arguably one of the most exciting weekends of 2024 in the sense that, and this has to do with other planets than Mercury, but like the way to understand astrology is like, you know, no one planet is ever going to describe everything that's going on. For the purpose of my videos and making it bite-sized and easier to understand and digest, I take one planet at a time and talk about what's going on. But all 7 of the personal planets and then the 3 transpersonal planets, they all represent different parts of our psyche, different parts of our body, different people in our lives, different situations in our lives. And all of those threads woven together is what makes the complete tapestry of our life. And so that's why I always encourage you to contact me for a reading. Working one-on-one with clients is what I enjoy doing the most. I think it's how you get the most out of astrology. But in the meantime and in between time, I do like to do these videos because I do believe that astrology should be available to everyone who wants access to that knowledge. Anyway, the reason that this weekend is so exciting astrologically is not only do we have Mercury square Pluto that's kind of carrying through the weekend, that has these like deep thought processes, deep conversations, meeting with powerful people, meeting with underworld figures, tension and challenges in these areas. But at the same time, Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, who is Mercury's ruler, is conjoining Uranus, the disruptor, the rebel, the element of surprise, you know? And so there are plot twists, surprises, shocking events around love, art, beauty, money. There are also, the sun is conjoining Jupiter on May 18th as well, which is really good luck and prosperity and abundance and, you know, in the realm of money and, you know, food and art and beauty, style, pleasures, comforts, Mother Nature. And so there is this really exciting kind of big energy that's happening this weekend. And on the 19th, we have Mars, the god of war, who's at home in Aries, coming into conjunction with the North Node, Rahu, head of the dragon in Aries. So there's a lot about competition, stellar performances in athletics, like record-breaking performances in athletics. But there's also a lot about a huge, you know, fated karmic turning point in war. There could be, you know, bloodshed, police stuff, you know, gun stuff, you know. Personally, for people, it could be things like, you know, injuries and car accidents and scrapes or burns. It's very fiery energy. We could see some big fires, world news kind of fires breaking out. And so there's like this really fiery energy. There's this really big, prosperous, abundant, you know, good luck energy. And then there's also this kind of surprise roller coaster shake-up energy all along the Mercury-Pluto square, which is like trying to solve a problem, trying to get to the bottom of something, unearthing deep truths that are coming out, you know, and all of that is like this weekend's astrology. So it's really a mixed bag. Life is complex. It's not all good. It's not all bad. It's all a little bit of both, and or a lot of both in the case of this weekend. So it is an exciting weekend. But May 27th, Mercury will sextile Saturn, an aspect I really like. Sextiles bring opportunities. And so when Mercury and Taurus sextile Saturn and Pisces, there is an opportunity to bring the dream into reality. I love that. On May 30th, Mercury conjoins Uranus. So this is like giving a megaphone or a loudspeaker to Uranus, the rebel, the disruptor, you know, and in the media, I think we'll see that in our personal lives. You know, it can be exciting meeting with a stranger. It can be a revelation, an aha moment. It can be solving a problem. It can be inventive thinking out of the box, original thinking, inventions, new ideas, bringing, you know, these inventions into tangible physical reality. You know, Mercury conjunct Uranus is like brilliance, it's genius. But it can also, on the shadow side, be very erratic thinking and electrical outages or, you know, internet outages, radios going down kind of things. So, you know, there's, with every transit, you know, one of the favorite questions people love to ask me is that good or bad? Nothing is good or bad. Everything is both. That's the nature of life on planet Earth. That's why the yin and the yang symbol of the you know, the white and the black, with the little white and the black and the little black and the white, is that's the nature of reality in life. You know, everything has a shadow. All good things have a shadow. All shadows have a blessing that come out of them. There's nothing that's just good or bad. It's the way that it's our own self-awareness and how we work with the energy. And you know, then on June 2nd, Mercury in Taurus will sextile Neptune in Pisces. This is really great for writing films, writing songs. This is really good for mystics and, spirituality. It's, in the media, we might see some news about, I don't know. I don't want to go into too much of that. So Mercury will move into Gemini June 3rd, and that's a whole new cycle for Mercury. And so I will not go into that right now either. But, I'm going to continue putting out videos. I do these videos, though, because I hope that it will interest you enough to contact me for your own personal reading, get a better understanding of your astral body. Our physical body is not our only body. We have a mental body, we have an astral body, and astrology is a way to zoom out and get a bird's eye view on your life and understand it from a soul perspective, as opposed to just being caught up in the day-to-day of these things that are happening. It's a way to separate from our ego and understand our karmic field in this lifetime. I love astrology. I love talking about it. So it would be an honor to read for you. If you're watching on YouTube, my email is here. If you're watching on Instagram, make sure you're following astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole. Go to my profile bio, hit the contact button, and you can email me to get on the schedule for a reading. I read on Zoom, so I can read for people anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. And in LA, I can do readings by appointment within, reason. And what else did I want to say? I guess I'm just going to wrap this up now. I think that I just this is just the cliff notes. There's so much deeper that we can go into this, but I basically, for the most part, wanted to give you the good news that cooler heads prevail now that Mercury has entered Taurus and come out of combative, fiery Aries. And so enjoy this period. It's a great time for accounting. It's a great time for methodical planning towards the future. Now that Mercury is out of Aries and out of retrograde, it's a safer time for signing contracts and making those kinds of commitments with the assurance that something's not going to change or be overlooked. And Mercury and Taurus. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to reading for you. Bye.